Good afternoon, students. This is your economics online class. We are discussing the first chapter, Introduction to Microeconomics. In the last class, I taught about utility, types of utility, measurability of utility, price, market, cost, revenue, equilibrium diagram, and equilibrium explanation with stable equilibrium and particular general equilibrium. Is today also we have to continue the same chapter, Introduction to Microeconomics. In this video we have to discuss about economics is its method, its fact, theories of laws, everything we have to discuss. Let us see economy and its facts, methods. The methods of economics is deduction and induction method. Like other science, economics also has its own law or generalization. Like science, economics also has its law or generalization. These laws govern the activities in the various divisions of economics. In economics, various divisions we know that, isn't it? What are they? Consumption, production, exchange, and distribution. These are the divisions of economics. Okay, subject matter. When I taught the subject matter, I explained that. So these are the divisions of economics, and this division has its logical process for arriving its own law or generalization. In science, it is called its method. Okay, like that here also for arriving its generalization, which is called method. What method we have to using to arriving the divisions of economics? It may be consumption or production, exchange or distribution. Let's we go to the methods. Deduction method of economic analysis. So in the deduction and inductive method, they given one diagram. We have to see in the last. First we have to understand about the deductive method of economic analysis. What is deductive method? It is also named as analytical or abstract method. Analytical or abstract method, underline it. It consists in deriving conclusions from general truths. So what is this? Which is deriving conclusions from general truths. It takes few general principles and applies to draw conclusion, which main aim is bringing the conclusion about the concept. Okay, so that the classical and neoclassical school of economists, maybe the Ricardo, Senior, J.S. Mill, Malthus, Marshall, Pigou, they applied the deductive method in their economic investigations. Whatever they did their investigation, they used this deductive method because bringing the conclusion, whatever concept they took over, for analyzing and bringing the conclusion using with the deduction method. So what is the deduction method? It is also named as analytical or abstract method, which is consists in deriving conclusion from general truths. Understood? The main aim is bringing the general truths, which is conclusion, arriving the conclusion. What are the steps of deductive method? The first step is the analyst must have a clear idea and a precise idea of the problem to be inquired into. What they are saying here, the researcher, analyst means the researcher must have a clear idea and a precise idea of the problem. So what problem they have to handle and take over it. What about the idea they have to solve the problem? They should have. The step 2, analyst clearly define the technical terms used in the analysis. So as a researcher, they should have clear ideas and they clearly define the technical terms what they are going to use in their research. Further, assumption of the theory are to be precise. Okay, assumption they should have. What are the assumption they have? Which should be precise. Step 3. Deduce hypothesis from the assumption taken. Some assumption they taken, about their problem, about their research, so that when they are going to analyze the problem and researching the problem, in the process of the problem, they have to deduce their hypothesis one by one. Okay, what they already decided, determined, or defined, it should be deduced by the analyst one by one. This is step 3. Then the fourth step is hypothesis should be verified through direct observation of events in the real world and through statistical methods. The analyst should go through the direct observation of their problem in the real world, and they using their statistical method, then only they can find out the real situation or real solution to the problem. For example, the analyst taken the problem as relationship between price and quantity demanded of a good, whether which is inversely related or directly related. They should go through the field directly go through the field in the real world, and direct observation must be taken by them. Then only they can understand the problems. What is their problems? Relationship between the price and quantity demanded in the market. So whether which is inversely relationship happened there or direct relationship going on there. So direct observation is must when they are going to researching about quantity and price. Okay. Now we have to move inductive method of economic analysis. Inductive methods. So what is inductive method? Inductive method is also called empirical method. Underline it. Deductive method is also known as analytical or abstract method. Here inductive method is also known as empirical method. It is adopted by the historical school of economists. See here, you should understand about the deductive method and inductive method, vice versa. So inductive method is adopted by the historical school of economists. Deductive method adopted by the neoclassical school of economists. Understood? See here, it involves the process of reasoning from particular fact to the general principle. This is the concept, inductive. In deductive, the analyst researching about the problem and deriving conclusion from general truths. In inductive method, it involves process of reasoning from particular facts to the general principle. They have to go through particular to general. Economic generalization are derived in this method on the basis of experimentation, observation, and statistical method. Okay, what are the steps taken by the analyst when they are going to using inductive method? The first step is data are collected about a certain economic phenomenon. What is their problems? Depends upon their problems. They should collect the data of the problem. These are systematically arranged and general conclusions are drawn from them. So after collected the data, the researcher should arrange the data according to the phenomenon. Okay, systematically arranged about the phenomenon, and they should make general conclusion drawn from them. Step 2. By observing the data, conclusions are easily drawn. So that through the observation, the data and conclusion are easily drawn by the researcher. Step 3. Generalization of the data and then hypothesis formulation. They deriving the generalization of the data, whatever the data collected by them, they can make generalization about the data and then the hypothesis they can formulate. This is the third step in inductive method. And the fourth step is verification of the hypothesis. Here, whether the hypothesis is correct or not. Before going to analyze the problem, they should make the year or formulate the year hypothesis. I said to you. If they made the hypothesis about the problem, at last they have to verify whether their hypothesis is correct or not. So that the fourth step is verification of the hypothesis. Here Angel's law example given here. What is Angel's law? According to Angel, the economist, Angel's law, the proportion of total expenditure incurred on food items declines as total expenditure goes on increasing. So the proportion means some amount of total expenditure incurred. So happening in the food items declines, which result to total expenditure goes on increasing. So this is Angel's law. They may ask 2 marks. Okay. So economists today are of the view that both these methods are complementary. Without any one, the divisions of economics cannot function, which means complementary. So these two methods are complementary. Alfred Marshall has rightly remarked, inductive and deductive methods are both needed for scientific thought, as the right and left foot are both needed for walking. See here, beautifully Alfred Marshall defined the both methods. Inductive and deductive methods are needed for scientific thought, as the right and left foot are very needed for walking, isn't it? Without right leg, we can't walk smoothly. Such a way, here he mentioning here, Marshall mentioning here, inductive and deductive methods are right and left leg, right? So far needed walking. Able to understand? The next topic is facts and theories. In economics, facts and theories. Using the methods, the economists observe fact. This is their main work, isn't it? Observation about the fact, such as changes in the prices of a commodity. So every day the prices are changing. So what are the changes happening in the prices of the commodity? They should observe. Similarly, the quantity demanded of that commodity also varies. So that they keenly observe the fact. And he observed these movements and comes up with the theory that these two movements are inversely related or directly related. When the prices increases, the quantity demanded of the commodity decreases, vice versa. So we know that this is the concept. Price increases, quantity demanded also decreases. When the price decreases, the quantity demanded increases. So he formulated his own theory of demand. They can make hypothesis about demand. He tests his theory by collecting further facts, and when his theory stands the test and obtain universal acceptance, the theory is raised to the status of law. So that he tests his theory to check it over, whether the theory is correct or not, through their collected data. So further fact, isn't it? Further observation taken by them, what are the facts happening there. Then his theory stands the test of time. So during the time, when it is increased and when it is decreased, the time is must here. Then only His theory is obtained universal acceptance. Everyone should be accept. The theory is raised to the status of law. So everyone accepted means his theory is raised to the status of law. So like that the economist made all the definitions and theories. Understood? So that economics has fact, theories. Depends upon the facts and theories. They made everything. The laws about economics. Okay, let us go through the nature of economic laws. So how did they made their laws? I explained to you. Now what are the nature of economic laws? A law expresses a causal relation between two or more than two phenomena. Okay, not only single variable taken here. So two or more than two phenomena taken by the economist. Marshall states that the economic laws are statement of tendencies. Underline it. Who said? Alfred Marshall states that the economic laws are statement of tendencies, and those social laws which relate to those branches of conduct in which the strength of the motives chiefly concerned can be measured by the money price. Okay, everything measured by the money price. In natural, we know that in natural science, a definite result is expected to follow from a particular cause. So we know that through the experiment in the laboratory we can give a definite solution to the problem in the natural science. In economic science, the laws function with cause and effect. Okay, in economics, the laws function with cause and effect only. The consequences predicted by the data. The situation, consequences means situation, predicted by the data they collected, which is necessarily and invariably follow. So variable data is collected by them, isn't it? That's why the prediction of data necessarily and invariably follow. However, economic laws are not as precise and certain as the laws in the physical science. Economics not like physical sciences. We cannot bring exact laws and certain rules. Marshall holds the opinion that there are no laws of economics which can be compared for precision with the law of gravitation. Not like physical science, the economics cannot move with the correct laws. Yes, this is said by Alfred Marshall. See here, for gravitation, the physical sciences having some rules and procedures. It has some laws, not like economics. Okay, economics cannot bring any correct laws. So precision only we can make. So that's why Alfred Marshall said that. And a physical science carrying out controlled experiments in his laboratory. Yes, physical sciences have experiments. We can go through the experiments in his laboratory and test the scientific laws, verify easily, and by changing the conditions, obtaining the what are the changes happening in the at that time when we are making the experiments. The laboratory itself we can find out the result. In economics, not like that. Changes in economic sciences cannot be brought about easily. Okay, we cannot bringing the reason about the increasing the price level and decreasing the price level, which is not easy. As a result, prediction regarding human behavior is likely to go wrong. So that in nature of the economics, we cannot go through the correct prediction and the hypothesis, everything. There are exceptions of the law of demand. Okay, in the law of demand, exceptions is there. Thus, the economic laws are not inviolable. So that not like physical sciences, economics is vary, okay, which is different from the physical science. So that unpredictability prevails in economics. We cannot predict easily. Human behavior is volatile, so different. Economic laws are not assertive, but they are indicative. So human behavior changing, so which is changing day by day and time to time. That's why economic laws are not assertive, but they are indicative. The law of demand, for example, which states that other things remaining the same, the quantity demanded of a commodity increases. For other things remaining same means here income of the consumer is same. There is no changes in their income, taste, habit, everything. But the quantity of the demanded of the commodity increases. What is the reason behind that? We don't know. So that as its price decreases and vice versa here, we cannot find, we cannot predict. This is the reason the commodity of the prices of the commodity is increases or decreases. This is said by Alfred Marshall. So that according to Marshall, the laws of economics is tides, look like tides. The use of the assumption other things remaining the same. I said, okay, as the value of measuring rod, which is measuring rod, money is measuring rod, isn't it? So that money is not constant. There is always an hypothetical element surrounding the laws of economics. The money is not static, which is going up and going down. So that we cannot go with the measuring rod only to making our economics laws. So some economic laws are simply tourism. For example, savings is a function of income. Okay, if we have some savings means at least we have some income. As the value of measuring rod, what is measuring rod here? Money. So money is not constant. There is always an hypothetical element surrounding the laws of economics. Okay, money can change time to time. So, which is not correct measuring rod in making economic law. Some economic laws are simply truism. For example, saving is a function of income. If we have income, we can save. So another examples of truism is human wants are unlimited. So unlimited human wants is there. So because of unlimited wants, we cannot predict easily the changing values of the prices of the commodity. So that we cannot make any correct laws in the economy. Okay, like natural sciences or physical sciences. This is the nature of economics. Okay. Today you learned two methods in economics. What are they? Deductive method and inductive method. And what are the steps involving in deductive method and inductive method? Then facts and theories, everything in economics. Nature of economics laws. Go through the video carefully and write the test about deductive method and inductive method, and then nature of the economic laws. Understood? You have to write everything properly and send your paper to me, then post your status in group. Okay?